Industry Inner Join, uplifting data literacy across Australia and bringing conversations from data leaders straight to your ears. Get the insider information. My name is Douglas, former data analyst, now founder of DR Analytics Recruitment, and we're about to hear from one data leader. Welcome, Dr. Vahid Golkar, episode 3 of the Industry Inner Join podcast. From a PhD in mechanical engineering to a data analyst at Topdrill to data analytics manager today, from zero data maturity to Snowflake and AI ML, we're here today to hear about that.
Thank you very much, Doug. Thanks for having me. Actually, it's a real pleasure for me to be. I have seen the last two episodes with your two great guests, Ash and Jacob. I really enjoyed them, and it's absolute pleasure for me to be here. Thank you very much. And yeah, so my journey is a little bit, interesting to me, to myself, and lots of people that heard about my story. So I'm happy to share, and if it can help anyone to change their life or learn from it, that I'm more than happy.
Well, let's get stuck into it. Walk us through your career in 200 seconds, from data analyst to data analytics manager, and maybe before that. What's that been like for you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can fit it to 200 seconds, but I do my best. But so, as you know, I did my PhD in mechanical engineering, and I used to be a maintenance engineer, actually, before I started my career in data. And I used to work in Middle East in one of the largest refinery in the world as a maintenance engineer and dealing with turbines and pumps and compressors. And I used to work with lots of data and trending data and monitoring these assets, and I had this sort of background in working with data. And then when I came to Australia in 2014 to do my PhD, so my thesis was advanced numerical simulations and lots of working with a huge amount of data. And one of the reviewers' feedback when I submitted my thesis was the candidate shows a very strong and exceptional capability in analyzing large amount of data sets. And it's prompted me to think more about it. And when I had more discussions with some of my friends at uni and some of my friends at in the industry, I was thinking more about it, about my next steps in my life. And it was a LinkedIn post when I looked at it back then in 2017 or 2018. And I saw oil and gas platforms, offshore platforms, but with Google on top of them and Amazon on top of them. It was showing that the data is the new oil and all this stuff, and it just, prompted me more thinking about it. And it was a time that one of my cousins he did his PhD again as well in USA, and turned his career to become a data scientist. And I got some feedback from him, and he actually encouraged me to go and think more about it. And then, but I was just about to be graduated from uni, and I needed a job. So I applied for lots of jobs, and I got a job as a technician, maintenance technician in some mining companies. Very hands-on, dealing with pumps, pipings, and all this stuff, which I was very comfortable, and I could do that. But it was a time that it was one of the pilot's plans that we had, and the person who was in charge of the monitoring, reporting, and analyzing the results, he didn't show up. And when I realized that, it was a discussion intern, and I said, I can do it. And they were surprised, and because obviously they didn't know about my background that much, and with the role that I had. And I said, no, I can do it. And I did it. Obviously, I smashed that job, and they offered me a new position there. And I started to be more seriously as a data analyst. And then I started to go further education after my PhD in data science. And now, even right now that I'm talking to you, I'm doing another master in business analytics as well. So I started data analyst like that. I went to another company with more skills as a data analyst, and I learned a lot. And then finally, I became a senior data analyst and joined Topdrill, and with absolutely zero infrastructure there. And it was a huge learning for me during that journey at Topdrill. And finally, I became a data analytics manager there.
We'll get into what that transition looks like. But I think what's key there is you put your hand up from a technician role and said, I can do that. And someone said, can you? And you said, yes, I can. The confidence to go, yep, I can do that.
Yeah, so that's true. And I'm one of the things is just, I'm the PhD study just, equipped me with be ready with the challenges, the things that you can do it. I mean, you should do it yourself. So yeah, that was one of the main reasons that I had that mindset.
Across your data analyst role, and even as a manager, what's been one of the consistent challenges that always comes up, regardless of where you are?
That's a very good question, actually. Change management. So the biggest challenges that I have, regardless of wherever I have been working, even as a maintenance engineer, when you wanted to make changes, it was all about change. And human, naturally, we don't like changes. And this is the lessons that I learned. And when I was at Topdrill, because when you become a manager or you go into a company that this is going to be a significant interruption for that company, there are going to be lots of resistance. And you need to be very careful how you implement your changes and solutions to get the outcome that you want. In one of my presentations in the past couple of months with ops involved in that, I just shared that story, and I can share with everyone here that I had a good friend of mine in working at Topdrill right now. He shook my hand when I joined Topdrill. He said that you're going to fail. It's not going to work because people are very uncomfortable with the changes. Now that person is one of my best friends, invited me to their boats, invited me to their houses, and they know that we can help and we can improve together. And because we were able to just handle it well, finally. Trust me, we made some mistakes during that journey, but we learned from it.
Well, perhaps we dive into those a little bit now. So joining Topdrill with no data infrastructure to Snowflake platform, AI, ML in production, what did that journey look like for you?
Yeah, it has been significantly rewarding for me, and I learned a lot. But when I joined Topdrill, as you know, it was so currently that I'm talking to you. Still, Topdrill is the only company, at least in Western Australia, in drilling industry, that had data analytics to that level that we have now. And it started when I joined. It was just a bunch of spreadsheets, silos in the data and platforms. But what we did after passing the initial stage of showing the value of analytics to just deliver some low-hanging fruits, get the credit, and show that we can deliver and it can have impact. So we were lucky that we are dealing with the board and MD level, that they are so engaged and they're smart enough to really see the values that even if hasn't been presented or existed in this industry before, and they were happy to support us. And then when we got confidence that okay, now we need to go out of this mindset that we need to just look for low-hanging fruits and deliver value, so they see the value, and now we can think strategically. So we define a framework and how we evaluated the maturity, the data maturity and capability at Topdrill strategically, and in 5 different criterias. And we design our strategy to go and address those issues, and we develop initiatives to go step by step, and we track our progress year by year in our strategy and planning. And we measured our impact every single year to see if the decisions were correct or not. And then we got to the level that we currently are.
So starting with analytics, value add, then strategy, and then working on every one of the 5 key parts of each strategy.
Yes, that's correct. And as I said, this is none of the CEO level or these board level people, they're not against data or analytics or anything. The thing is, they don't trust it and they don't see value, and they're against the change. And if you can just make it easier for them, they will make the right decisions. This is really comes to how you handle the situation properly. If you give them the trust in the way that you work and evaluating the data, if you get the value from initial works and get the trust, it's like an investment for yourself, and you can invest it down the track. So,
what was the pin drop moment for influencing those more senior stakeholders who come on the data journey? Is there any advice if someone else is going on that
So it depends on the maturity of the company or organization that you're going to work with. If they already passed those initial, if you're dealing with the initial stage, there is no other way. You need to go and show the value first. You can go and say, okay, I have a plan for the next 5 years and I'm going to do this and that. Because they have never seen that, they can't trust it. You need to visually show them that this is the initial things that we did. This is the value that we can add. So let's test it. It's like a POC, but you should be very careful with how you implement the POCs at this stage of these companies as well, because it can end up in, wrong mindset from the people and just thinking about the short-term things, what is next. But you need to be able to make it clear to them that this is earlier stage. I'm going to have this, show you the value. If you think and you believe that we can get to next level together, I will show you a roadmap how we can make things different. And then you can get the buy-in and credit and go to next steps.
What does value mean for you in data analytics?
So it's important to, so it depends, but for me, it's how we can contribute to the success of the company and well aligned with what company has its own strategy and goals. So the good thing about Topdrill was that from almost day one when we joined, they knew about their goals, what they want to achieve. They wanted to have customer or client satisfaction. They want to reduce the cost per meter. They want to have timely decisions and better decisions for operations. They want to reduce the downtime. So they knew what they want. And we had to just align our strategy with them. And then we show the improvements in any of those goals that they had. And to me, they were adding values through analytics and, of course, cooperation and teamwork with other departments to get to those goals.
So understanding the business metrics that people want, whether that's the cost per meter, and then aligning to that, and that's going to be different for every business.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And did you discover those, was it through a board report or was it through conversation?
No, definitely conversations and lots of conversations. So especially if you're new to that company, you should be very good communicator. You should have lots of conversations because the problem with just going through the reports is that those reports usually are about what they achieved or what they planned. It doesn't talk about inefficiencies at all. It doesn't. They're not disclosing that, or we are doing that in this way. But when you go and have more conversations with them, it teaches you that, okay, so maybe there are some improvements, there are some opportunities in this, and we can help. And those reports, they don't reveal any of these aspects of opportunities.
Understood. AI and ML. You've gone from no data warehouse to Snowflake platform. There's some AI and ML use cases out there.
Yeah.
Can you talk at all about, one, the business problem, and then what you put in place and into production as well?
So do you want me to go about some use cases and examples of how or what models, for example, are using, or examples in our industry, or in overall you want to see if you're using them?
For Topdrill, I think and what I hear in the industry is the movement from conceptual ML data science into hitting the rubber of what the business actually needs.
Yeah. So definitely we have models in production that right now that I'm talking to you. And but the thing is, one of the challenges with these cool technologies is that you can get into the trap of because they are so exciting and interesting and usually they have beautiful outputs. You can get into the trap that you're not really addressing business issue. This is so important for us that we don't just work randomly. We actually tackle business problems. For us, for us, it was one of the main things that we work was the issues that we had with shutdowns, that the rigs could be shut down at any time without any warning for us, and our maintenance strategy was very reactive. So then we started to tackling the problem. We improved the connectivity of the rigs. We had lots of sensors, and we started to exploring the data, and we understood our data. And we developed some models, and right now that I'm talking to you, 2 models that it can predict the friction, for example, the temperature rise in our rigs, and we could predict it well ahead of time to, instead of dealing with a shutdown and get a contact to the maintenance team that, okay, our rigs are down, and then let's help out this situation. We can inform the maintenance team in a predictive way to be ready for this rig is not behaving normally. Let's discuss it in more details. And it's learning for us as well, because we go through these discussions with them and say, okay, our model picked it. Can we evaluate this? Because then we can go through different sensors and reportings and see what we can find, and then fine tune our model for the next steps. And regarding AI, so obviously we are like most of the companies, we are at earlier stage in testing and evaluating, but we are utilizing them in our safety specifically, and customer engagement and understanding our customers better, because majority of the data in these fields are very unstructured, and AI really changed the game, and we are utilizing them in these two. But because, I mean, I can go to the details of those initiatives, unfortunately, but these are the fields that we're utilizing this.
Your team, moving away from AI, ML, you've had your team, and some people have come, some people have gone, you've grown and hired. What key traits do you look for when hiring people?
Yeah, good. This is your favorite question, right?
Tell me everything.
Yeah, I know. So the difficulty of dealing with this question is because your background, you're limited hiring people that I know that you know data analytics and everything, and this is your business as well. So I do my best to answer that properly.
It's a personal question for what you look for.
No worries. So look, there are multiple things are very important to me. First of all, critical thinking. I mean, before I even look at the resume, I will look at resumes. This is the first interview. What in interviews and the initial testings, I will look to see if I can see critical thinking ability in that candidate. I know that you can develop critical thinking in people. You can improve people in that, but it's very time consuming. So, and usually I don't have that much time. So I prefer someone to be developing those skills through university educations or from their work, or they're ready and they understand how to disaggregate the problems and how they can think clearly. That's so important. The second one, I believe, curiosity. This is so important. And I, in my opinion, in contrast to the first critical thinking that I said, this one, you can't really that much develop it in people. They should born with it to me. The thing is, I don't know if you noticed my recent LinkedIn post, I'm very focusing on what and why behind the thing. So, I mean, with the initial data analytics projects, when you work or develop a dashboard or you go do analysis, you can easily get to the what happened and everything, but getting deeper into the why. And because answering to those questions are really changing the game and you know, providing significant opportunities for the businesses. But to getting to answer to the why, you need someone to be motivated enough to go through that themselves. I don't have time and, you know, energy to push everyone in my team to go, and they should be going toward the why and after the why themselves, and they should be curious. I know that I'm managing all data engineering projects, data analytics, data science, and AI, and I know that you might don't need that specifically to that level for data engineers, but still I'm working with data engineers. They have these sort of capabilities, and I can see the value of that in them as well. So, and the third one, I mentioned it last, but definitely it's not least, it's just I want to see someone that has learning mindset for their life, because if anyone comes to this industry, I mean in data analytics, I mean in any aspect, in engineering to AI, they should be ready to learn for the rest of their life. Otherwise, they will be out of the game very, very quick. And I always tell my team members that, yeah, we learn together, we share. I'm not looking for a superstar in the team at all. I significantly, I'm insisting on that. I don't look for a superstar. I'm look for a team of stars. Learn, share, and everyone should learn about it. So these are my values and principles when it comes to hiring and managing my team.
Critical thinking, curiosity and learning, how do people develop those as an individual looking to grow or looking to get into the industry?
Yeah, so I think with the critical thinking, obviously it needs lots of effort, training, and during the university, I believe that's the best time to develop that because usually the employers are not that patient. I mean, majority of them. So, and I think at university you have enough time, and I think there are lots of different ways that you can develop that, and you can, and any person can work on their problem solving and critical thinking abilities to develop that. For curiosity, as I said, I mean, I'm not a specialist in that regard, but to me, from my experience, I think you should be curious. But I think majority of people that are interested in these fields, specifically in data science, that I see people that are curious enough because, to be honest, you can survive of those heavy courses during your studies if you don't show this sort of personalities. Usually, it's the case. And regarding learning, I mean, you need to develop that habit. This learning. I believe that you can develop it, and it's like a habit. I mean, and I have a habit of learning every single day myself. I have dedicated time to go and upskill myself in anything that I know that, okay, I need, this is my, opportunities to learn, and I go through them.
How do you find out what to learn? I know learning's very important, but the process of figuring out what to learn is getting harder and harder. How do you do that?
Yeah, so for junior team members and other my team members, it's pretty easy for them because I review that with them and I give them the roadmap, and we have milestones and we know what they need to go through because I have personally lots of one-on-ones with them. I know each of my team members because I know them. I should know them very well to know which nerve I should pinch in the right time to get the best output from them. I believe this is one of the roles of the managers and leaders in any industry. And this is a two-way sort of conversation. So we evaluated their situation and we find the opportunities for growth. Is it extra education, certifications, or gap in the knowledge, and we need to fill it with any appropriate way. But for myself, I will do it through lots of conversations with people at my level, watching to lots of YouTube channels and all this stuff. And I'm, as I told you, right now that I'm talking to you, I'm still going to university and I'm educating myself. And conversations with peers at like lots of good gatherings like the ones that you organize, which is, I believe, the Perth community are really owing that to you. Well done on that. That's a great opportunity for me. You see that I'm almost one of the first people that always register myself to those ones because these are the ways that I know about, okay, I need to learn more. For example, the last time that I was there, I saw some good visions on data governance, and I learned from that vision from a colleague. And I said, okay, so I need to go and educate myself more in that regard. And then I plan for that.
Yeah, perfect. And where do you see the industry, data and analytics, going in the next 2 to 5 years?
Oh, that's a tough question because the rate of the change are daily almost. So then we need to predict for the next couple of years. So look, if you look at the history of the industry altogether with the revolution in the industry and the changes that happen in the industries, it's just all result in speed, gaining efficiency and speed, advance of engines and then internet. Everything that you see, these waves, they cause us to be faster, respond faster, and do our jobs quicker and more efficient. But the thing is with AI, it's just doing it exponentially, and it's so hard to predict what's going to happen. But what I can see for sure is that each individual needs to do more. So you used to be a data analyst. Now I expect you to, because you can do things way much quicker, even for visualizations, exploration. I expect you to have more time now for working as an analytics engineer as well. Because I think industry got to a level that we really disaggregated those roles. We had data engineers and analytics engineers used to be the same, and then they got separated. But I think with the AI, they got convergence again, and I think I expect people to do more. And not only me, I mean, the industry will expect people to know more and do more and deliver more during the day shift.
I just took a brief for a lead data scientist role yesterday, and there's new data science function, and there's an expectation that that person will be able to set up the pipelines, the data engineering side, the CI/CD side, and also the data science side, and the communication to business side. It's a lead role, so there's a higher standard, but it was almost full stack in terms of developing. You have to develop the platform and also the data science models. So I like where you're thinking in terms of it sort of shifting from siloed to you could be the full stack data professional.
That's I mean, we'll see how it goes, but to be honest, as I said, the rate of the change are significantly. We human, our brain is not really designed to follow this level of transaction to that speed. I mean,
it goes back to what you said about change management for ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Bit of a conceptual exercise now. We talk about, the question is around what advice would you give to someone who's breaking into data or wants to become a manager? But let's flip it on its head. What advice would you give to someone if you wanted them to fail? If you want someone to fail, what should they do?
To be in a transactional mindset of the senior person in the role, technical role. This is the I see some people, they have this challenge, because one of the things that if you want to be successful in management role, you need to be able to switch between transactional mindset and a strategic mindset. I mean, because the thing is, when with my data analysts and data engineers in the team, or even senior ones, in each sprint, they just following one or two goals, and all their focus during that sprint is just to deliver those goals. And on a daily basis, they go to the different milestones in that project, report to me, they go to stand up, and all the word is that transactional to get to that goal. But when you become a manager, sometimes you need to intervene and give them advice, but you need to look back and from overview and come out and see from prospect and strategy level, what we're going to achieve, what we need to change, and from that level. This is so important. And the other thing is that when you become a manager, it's easy to see, okay, I have technical people that take care of technology part, and I don't need to be involved whatsoever. I don't need to keep myself updated like what it used to before when I was working. That's so wrong. Because if you don't upskill yourself continuously, you cannot keep up the conversation with your team members. And trust me, it's going to be a very embarrassing moment that they talk to you in some concept that you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. I personally hate to be in that situation. That's why I keep myself, upskilling all the time. And the last, it's not least, again, communication. And if you want to be successful as a manager, and if you want to be failed, actually, you should just work in your own word and not communicate enough. And then you will see that your strategy is not aligned with the business strategy. And then finally, someone comes to you and say, okay, this data team, it's not on the same page with the business because you don't communicate enough and you don't go to your stakeholders, you don't know them very well. And then at the critical moments, you can survive.
So if you want to fail as a data professional, be transactional, don't think about the long-term picture, stay in your silo, don't communicate, and make sure if you become a manager, forget all the tools that you learned as well.
Yeah, exactly.
The perfect path for failure.
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
And what about that person going to the positive? What about that person that wants to go from analyst to manager? What's that look like?
Yeah, that's going to be the opposite, right? So,
well, maybe for you, what did that look like?
Yeah, for me, obviously, the journey for me was just learning lots of technical stuff and be good at what I was doing. But I had a chance at Topdrill to not only be transactional as a senior data analyst, but I was put in the position that I need to think strategically as well and go and learn about them. And I had to learn how to switch them. When I was working and delivering things, dashboards, analytics, and then I had to do this maturity analysis as well. or capability analysis at the high level at the company, and have a roadmap for them and think about them. So, and it was helping me to see is those roadmaps are going to be realistic or not. And I had lots of challenges and lots of learning. And in the same time, I was working on my communications skill. As a data analyst, you should have these communication skills with your stakeholders and engagement and everything. But the thing is, with the management, again, the level of engagement is going to be very different. As a data analyst, you go really to scopings and to that level of conversations about the pain point. But as a manager, you will need to keep the conversations at a different level. And I had to do it at the same time when I was at Topdrill. And I mean, I'm still at Topdrill, but when I was in that position, I mean. So that's how I can respond to that question.
Take the opportunity as it comes. Go into the strategic long-term pieces where you can. Starts with data maturity, you own that, and you keep on going.
Yeah, exactly. Because with the companies that they are very new to this journey, it's very important that you have a framework. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem, because there are lots of opportunities, and how you can prioritize them, how we can go and say, okay, I'm going to do this based on what. So you need to have a framework to follow and show the consistency and send this message even to your stakeholders to really manage their expectations.
Understood.
That we are not a dashboard factory or something like that, right?
Power BI jockeys.
Yeah.
Last question. For the industry and adjoining community, uplifting data literacy across Perth is our initiative. What would be your message to data professionals if you had one thing to say to them in order to uplift data literacy? What do you want to see more from the community?
So actually, I really appreciate the work that you're doing, and I think that's a great initiative. And I think what I recommend to join these sort of gatherings and learn from each other and openly share the knowledge with others, which I do the same recommendation with my team members, that to share openly. And this is the way that we can learn from each other. And yeah, that's my word. But obviously you're already doing that, so you're good at it.
We'll keep going.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vahid Golkar, thank you for episode 3 of Industry and
My
Adjoining
pleasure.
Podcasts.
Thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure.